Welcome to the AI Best Business Show. Today we are joined by Ralph Haiby, CEO of Sikasok, and the host of this show, Ahmad Ibrahim.
Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the AI Best Business Show, the show where you'll best learn about business, entrepreneurship, tech, startups. Today I have with me a special guest. Uh, in the e-commerce business, we're going away from tech and software and technology to e-commerce and a specific niche in e-commerce. Ralph, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ahmad. I'm happy to chat with you and hopefully be able to add value to anyone watching or listening.
Okay, who is Ralph?
Ralph is an average person who's seeking freedom, financial freedom, freedom of time, freedom of space, and he believes that entrepreneurship and e-commerce in particular can be the right path to achieve that freedom.
Okay, I like this answer. When I ask a lot of people about who is X, they tend to go philosophical. I'm trying to solve this big problem. I'm trying to do this. Enta, you cut right through the chase and decided, no, I'm building this to achieve freedom, which I think,
It's very simple. Yani that's who I am. Anna. You asked me who I am. Anna.
yes.
I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here. Anna personally, that's what I'm trying to do. It happens to be around e-commerce today and around entrepreneurship. Heck.
Okay. Why e-commerce specifically?
Um, هلا I started in e-commerce مش by mistake, but it was very spontaneous. I wanted to move entrepreneurial. I used to work in consulting before, and I wanted to move entrepreneurial. And I felt like e-commerce is a good way to start. You can start from your bedroom. You just need an internet connection and a mobile phone or a laptop, and you can get started. And in fact, that's how we started. And we started out of my bedroom. We didn't even have a website. The business was it was run on chat commerce, on
Oh, wow.
WhatsApp or Instagram. For the first year and a half, it was I was full time on it, but it started for fun. E-commerce was I thought it was easy to start, and I was curious to see how it will evolve. I thought it's a good channel to learn, make mistakes. And 6-7 years ago, e-commerce was not as popular as today. So Kamena, it was the right time maybe to start and experiment. So yeah, that's how it started with e-commerce.
Okay. What I like about your e-commerce shop is it's around socks, which not a lot of people will go towards this product. My question here before we dig deep into what is the product and what is this, and you spoke earlier about the financial freedom and like time freedom. Would selling socks make you a millionaire?
Uh, it definitely can. It definitely
Okay.
has the potential to do that. I like many industries, but I think in our case, socks is merely a product. I don't think we're in the business of socks as much as we're in the business of lifestyle, self-expression, statements, and these can be lucrative if you find the right opportunity that is solving a real problem and you have a strong offer that people will be, interested in it enough to give you their money.
Yeah.
And you do this consistently and over time, and eventually it can be lucrative. Yes, but again, socks is a product we are using to achieve what we are trying to sell, which is much more than a pair of socks.
Okay. Uh, so as people kind of already know, your startup is your e-commerce shop sells socks or statements. It's Sikasok. What is it? Where did the idea come from 7 years ago? How did it happen? Tell us the
Okay,
story.
so I like the story of how it started actually because so I'll tell you, I used to work in management consulting before. So it's a corporate environment. Everyone is very, formal, a bit too serious most of the time, you know. And while I used to enjoy my job, I didn't enjoy a lot this formality. I wanted it wasn't me, you know. So I used to wear funky socks to break that aspect. No one knew about it. I wear it just for me. No one sees it under the suit. So, but I never cared about quality or designs. There wasn't even any brand of funky socks in the Middle East. So I used to get them from abroad when I travel. But then, so my friends knew that I liked these things. So they started gifting me some socks. And I only realized that I care about quality when I received a high quality pair of socks, and I couldn't wear the regular socks again. So I went to buy the high quality ones. Turned out they are very expensive, $40-$50 a pair of
Oh,
socks.
wow.
It wasn't something I could afford, but I also wanted to wear high quality socks. I tried to find it in the market. I only found a couple of brands, again internationally, nothing in the Middle East, that offered a fair price quality ratio. But the problem was they were too thick for the Middle East, and there was no statement on them. It's just a random pattern of colors, but no designs, no statements. And plus they were too thick. They weren't comfortable. So I thought this was a good opportunity, to start to solve this problem, because I wanted to move entrepreneurial eventually. But I always thought it would be in your, a tech startup, creating the next Facebook, the next Uber, the next Airbnb. And the very first idea I got was socks, and I dismissed it right away, because for me, it's like, it's a bit silly, you won't quit your job to do socks. So I spent a couple of months brainstorming ideas, and I just didn't have any. So I said, might as well start with something as innocent as socks, make your mistakes there, and eventually in a couple of months, you will find another idea. That was the purpose of why I started Sikasok. I wanted to make mistakes just for a short phase until I get the next idea. And little did I know, many years later, I'm still in the same company and same startup. So it's really exciting on how it grew.
Okay. You started it as a solo founder, did you, or was Maya there from the beginning?
No, Maya was there from the beginning. So basically, Maya and I worked on a separate startup that
Okay.
never made it to life
Okay.
prior to Sikasok. Okay, we worked for a year on a project. It was a big project, and for some reason, I mean, there were a lot of valid reasons, the project didn't make it to life. But Maya and I got to work together, and I liked her style, and we used to, work very well together. So when I got the idea for the socks, I was telling her, just as a friend, and she gave me a few, her opinion, things I can fix, and just wished me luck for my project. And then I thought that she could be, a good fit
Co-founder.
with me,
Right.
and because she completes what I do. I'm more of the business side, she's more of the creative side.
Okay.
So it was a good match, and we clicked.
So taking that, Maya does the design and the creatives, and you're focusing more on the business, the marketing, the selling. Is that true? Is that still how it
Yes,
goes right now?
Yes, but it's not as aggressive, In a
Okay.
startup, everyone does, we all wear many hats, but
Right.
indeed, Maya leads the creative part, and I lead the business part. But we do, share a lot and discuss a lot together. And today, also, we have a team with us. So Maya has also designers on the team with her. And yeah.
It's it's important. I wanted to shed light on this because a lot of startups, I feel when you have a startup and when you're choosing a co-founder, you want to choose the person that completes you to build this puzzle. If you're good at something, have the co-founder be good at something else. So when you're facing a problem, each co-founder could attack it from a different side and you could advance the business. You mentioned
Exactly.
something that 7 years ago, when you started, there were no brands doing socks in the Middle East. Is that still the case, or do you have competitors right now?
No, definitely. We do have many competitors now. A short time after we started, and we started educating the market on funky socks because
Right.
it wasn't something that was very popular back then. People thought I was crazy. They thought I was crazy just to wear funky socks, let alone to start a business around it. But after we started, I think we helped educate the market. People started to enjoy this more, and eventually people were gonna join the game and start selling as well, which is always a healthy
Thing.
aspect, and it was something we predicted, of course.
Yeah. There is I like the idea of funky socks. I'm a person that I wear funky shirts. I like to wear a shirt that's a statement. And a lot of people around me sometimes like, "What shirt is that?" But when I wear it and I go out, I'm happy wearing the shirt.
Yeah.
And I like I'll wear funky socks and go out. So this is why I'm so interested in like where did this all come from? Like how do you think about it?
I'm actually not. I wouldn't consider myself a funky person. You'll see me. I think every time you'll see me in the same t-shirt color. I have 10, 15 black t-shirts or dark navy, classic one color. I'm not a funky person, but I like to deliver statements, and that's why I love funky socks because for me it's personal. I wear
Right.
it because it makes me enjoy it. Some people like to wear funky socks because from a more from a fashion
Perspective.
perspective, and they're proud of it and they want to show it off. For me, I wear it for myself. Most of the time you will never see my socks, but under my jeans you'll always see colors and a lot going on.
Okay, so you launched Sikasok, and we know usually an e-commerce business is, and this is what's hard about e-commerce business. It's not just one business, it's three businesses in one. It's a manufacturer business, it's a marketing and sales business, and it's a logistic business. I want to go into the three parts of this aspect in this business. Let's
Sure.
start with uh, the marketing side, the sales side. Uh, I wanna start first with something we were just talking about, the funkiness of it, the colors, the fun identity. How did people perceive that, especially in the Middle East, where we know the culture is a bit more classic? How did people perceive that? How were you able to persuade people? What was your marketing campaign like when you first started?
Again, as I mentioned in the beginning, it was a bit difficult because the market was not educated on funky socks. It was very weird for them. Who would wear that? Why would I buy that? Why does it cost that much? Why would I pay for a high quality pair of socks? What's the difference between high quality and, a polyester pair of socks? It's just socks. So the market was not, of course, the market in the region in the west, it was more advanced. So that was, I think, the challenge in the beginning, is to educate the market. But we knew it because we knew we were the first in the region. We knew we were pioneering an industry. So this is very exciting, but it also comes at a responsibility that you are the one who will educate the market, right? So what we did is a lot of events, in-person events. So pop-up shops, exhibitions. We wanted to meet the people in person, tell them more about the product, tell them more about us, about the brand. It's not really about the product. It's not. We are not here to sell you socks. The same pair of socks you see here is not competing with your classic, pack of 10 black socks that you buy at a supermarket. It's not the same. You're buying statements. We were educating the market that this is something that you can gift. It's not only something you buy for yourself. We invested a lot in packaging and branding, in our marketing, to make the whole experience, make it more exactly about an experience and not just a random purchase. And I think the key here is to be genuine, because people can sense if a brand is faking it or not. They can sense um, if you love what you do. They can sense if you're honest with what you do. The more you're honest, the more you're genuine, people will tag along. And this was important for us because we wanted to build a community and not just, make money or sell products. Of course, we wanted to make money, but this will come naturally when you build a solid community and offer
Right.
the right product with the right offering, etc.
Okay. What were your marketing channels? You said you did exhibitions. After that, we know Facebook marketing. Uh, is that your main marketing channel now? Is it gonna still be, are you looking at TikTok? Tell me more here.
When we started, I think for the first year and a half, I would say it was 80% Instagram, organic Instagram. We never paid a single dollar for ads. It was the company grew a bit faster than we could handle. I think it was because we were the first in the market. So, we kind of got viral, got the attention. So the organic efforts were more than enough in the first year and a half. But of course, it wasn't sustainable. We needed to grow. We needed to automate, to structure things. This is where we, of course, created our website and moved into like a proper e-commerce business. We started experimenting with the paid media and ads. Mostly, I would say, up until now, it was on Instagram and Facebook. But definitely moving forward, there are a lot of channels that are interesting. TikTok is definitely one of them. And, in general, when it comes to digital platforms, things are evolving very fast. You
Right.
really, even within Facebook, within Instagram, there are always updates, there are always things that are changing. So you really need to stay up to date and, learn on the go.
Right.
Whether it's within the same platform or when new platforms will be eventually launched.
And the reason I'm asking is because I was listening to a podcast with Moiz Ali, and he sold native deodorant.
Yeah.
He started it, and he always says when you're an e-commerce startup and you're focusing and you want to sell your product and you're doing paid media, focus on one channel up until you capture 100% of the market.
Yeah.
Because be an expert in that one channel, whether it's SEO, whether it's FB mark or Facebook ads and Instagram, whether it's TikTok, focus on that one channel and become the expert in it. Once you're the expert and you're fully using this channel to its fully potential, move on to the next channel. And this is why I
Yeah.
wanted to see how are you thinking about it. What marketing challenge did you said education? What other challenges did you face and that you had to overcome?
Uh,
From
maybe
like
more.
customer service, like any like feedback you used to get from customers that affected you? Like, what are some challenges you got on this side?
I think so. Of course, there are always, small things here and there on different aspects of the business, but I'm trying to think of something, bigger, something. I think in the beginning, it's not really a big challenge, but it's fun to mention it because, when it's more of me as an entrepreneur than the business itself.
Right.
But when I entered this industry, especially in Lebanon and the region, there was no, again, funky socks. So the socks industry was very traditional. So the suppliers you're working with, the distribution networks you're working with, were not up to date. So I was by far the youngest player in the market,
Okay.
and the stakeholders in the community. So I was 22 when I launched
Wow.
Sikasok. So people at first, before they got to know me, before they got to, work with me, they didn't take me very seriously. They're like, okay, we've been in this industry for 30, 40 years. Who's this guy creating designs and writing in Arabic on funky, colorful socks and selling them from his bedroom over his phone? Something fishy is going on around here. That's how they used to think. But of course, until they start working with you, meeting you. But it's funny to mention because you always start the relationship with, they're judging you or they're not taking you seriously, but then you prove yourself and
Right.
you yeah.
You mentioned supplier earlier, and suppliers, manufacturers. You started manufacturing in Lebanon.
Yeah.
Now when people start e-commerce, like, okay, I'm gonna go on Alibaba, find a supplier in China, do if sample a product, brand it, and then sell it. You decided to manufacture in Lebanon. I don't know if that's the case up until now after 7 years, but how did you choose the manufacturer when you first started? What were your criteria? What were the terms? Take me through that process.
Listen, there's a lot. It's a it's a long journey, you know. There's a lot of trial and error here. We changed several suppliers. We tested a lot. We improved processes within suppliers. But we wanted to produce locally. Although, by the way, it was more expensive, so it was cheaper for us to be abroad. It was to some extent smoother for us, as you mentioned, from an app on Alibaba you can do everything. But we felt that the brand, again, it's more than a pair of socks. It was a brand that we are trying to build. The brand was local, the designs were local, the community was where people we are meeting in person, becoming friends with, etc. We thought it was natural for the product to be made, in Lebanon.
In Lebanon, okay.
That's when we started, and it's still the case till today, and it will still be the case as long as it makes sense. And I'll tell you why in a minute, because of course, after the financial crisis, there are some challenges. Suppliers are not sourcing the same
Material.
material in terms of variety. Before you used to pick from, let's say, 50, 100 colors. Today you have more, you're a bit more
Yes.
limited. Electricity cuts are a big issue with the local manufacturing. But again, we are sticking by them. We are helping them whenever we can. We're being very patient, and they are also being very supportive. So as long as it makes sense, we are staying here. We want to produce locally and export internationally. I think this is the best we can help the economy at our scale. And if
Right.
everyone thinks like us, I think we can make a solid impact.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
If I'm new to the market, how do I if and I'm launching a start e-commerce from Lebanon. Where do I find manufacturers? How do I find manufacturers? Whether it's in like silk and socks, whether it's in anything. What should be my starting point? You're 22, you wanted to manufacture a socks. Where did you start looking?
Lebanon is very small. So
Okay.
when you talk, when you ask around, eventually everyone knows someone who knows someone who
Someone
can,
knows.
who remembers that their friend had, a factory, etc. So that had started for me. So I was
Okay.
sharing the idea with a friend, and they referred me to a supplier, and then from there you get to be in the industry. Then when you grow, suppliers start reaching out to you. So today we receive, I think, on a weekly basis, 20 to 30 emails from suppliers
Oh wow.
internationally, who want to sell us their service in Turkey, in China, in India.
Oh wow.
So eventually people start finding you as well. You just
Okay.
have to start somewhere, and eventually it will pick up.
Okay. You were 22 and you were speaking about the trust and people finding you so young in the industry. How did you put payment terms with manufacturers? Because you're getting orders and then you're putting orders like, uh, how do you think about putting the legal terms, the due dates, and the payment terms, net 90, net 60, net 30? Like, what is the process there?
In the beginning, I didn't overthink all of this.
Okay.
And you asked me before what are the criteria that we look for in a supplier. So I'll merge the answers, both answers here. For me, when we started, we were really, really, really obsessed with the word community. We wanted to build a community on all fronts, with the customers, with the retailers that we sell to, with the people who help us with e-commerce, with the suppliers. We wanted to feel like we are building something more than a traditional supplier-customer relationship. So we focused a lot on partnership. And this is the criteria that we, wanted to see. we never negotiated payment terms when we started. We never negotiated prices in a crazy way when we started. We wanted to know who are the people we are working with. Will I enjoy working with you? Of course, quality is out of question. You have to deliver the quality. But beside that, am I enjoying working with you? Because if I'm enjoying working with you and you're really making my life easier on so many fronts, then maybe I will be willing to pay a little bit extra,
Right.
to get that. Or maybe if the relationship is amazing, I might be willing to, paying you sooner, or, So I thought first we wanted to build the relationship and the rest will come naturally. And I think it worked because naturally the payment terms started to be easier. Most of the times we don't accept, we ask them to take payments, so
Right.
I think it's really nice what we build and the priorities we set in the beginning, which were not that very conventional. And I think maybe investors or outsiders would maybe have criticized this in the beginning, but of course it paid off over time. And today we deliver the numbers that investors and people want to see, but we also build strong relationships that are growing
Okay.
with us.
Do you have investors on board?
Not yet. We have been bootstrapped since the
Okay.
beginning, but now we're in scaling phase. So we're scaling to the UAE. So now we're in the process of closing a few
Investors.
our,
Okay.
our first investment round.
That's it. Um, are you selling in the UAE right now, or are you in the process of building the UAE market?
So we've been present in the UAE market for a few years now, but
Okay.
not actively, So
Okay.
we were present in a few concept stores. We used to do a few events here and there, but the main focus was on Lebanon and that market. Today it's been a few months now that we registered the company here in UAE and Dubai. We have our offices in Dubai, a warehouse in Dubai, and we're ready to take it to another level. Nothing is stopping in Lebanon. We're just, scaling. We're not,
Okay.
we didn't shut down our operations in Lebanon.
Okay. I want to talk about logistics, but I want to ask first. You mentioned for the past 7 years you've been running out of Lebanon mostly. Is the Lebanon market that big for you to build a sustainable startup? And I'm assuming you don't have your consultant job. You're full time on Sikasok.
Yeah,
So,
Maya and I have been full time on this since day one. Um, First thing, we are in the long-term game. So
okay.
we have a vision and we really, are pushing for that vision. So, again, we're not after, quick money.
Money.
So that's to answer your first answer, but your first question. But I think Lebanon is more interesting than people think. It's underrated. What's the advantage of Lebanon? You can make mistakes, and that's the best, most important thing for a startup. You need to make mistakes. You need to learn, and your mistake in Lebanon is costs you much less than your mistake in Dubai, or in a more competitive and bigger market. So I think Lebanon is very interesting. It's an excellent way to start, to prove the concept, to build a community, and if this works, why not scale it and repeat it on a bigger scale abroad?
No, I love that. And I do believe that. I believe, like, for me, it's a numbers game. Lebanon has 4 million people that live in Lebanon. If we take 10% of that are still part of the people who could afford buying expensive stuff, and that's 400,000 people. That's a market for you. That's a huge market that you could
Yeah.
target and sell products to. So I do believe in.
Yeah, and it's also interesting to go through uh, to do business in times like these in Lebanon. Of course, it's extremely difficult, and the setbacks we've received over the past couple of years are countless. But when you take a step back and you look at what you've accomplished, you've gone through. I think all businesses in Lebanon should be proud of themselves because we're not going through something easy. And the mere fact that we are surviving the crisis is a big win by itself. So I think this is also something interesting that Lebanese entrepreneurs are having. It's a big advantage because when you go and compete with other markets, you would have seen and survived one of the toughest financial crisis and inflation globally. So I think it's despite all the problems and the complications, there is a lot to learn from doing business in Lebanon.
Okay. Uh, Logistics in Lebanon, how challenging is that? What I mean, because in e-commerce, you could produce the product, you could sell it, but you have to deliver it. How are you delivering the product? Is there any challenges there? And now, especially that you're going to launch to the UAE, you're going to have an extra challenge there about logistics and the supply chain. What are your plans there? What are your challenges? How are you
Okay,
maneuvering that?
so same answer as before, partnership, partnership, partnership. We are looking for partners and not suppliers.
Okay.
We want people who believe in us, believe in our mission, who have the same values, and naturally, eventually, the right service and the right, result will come. And I think in Lebanon, we have a perfect example when it comes to logistics. We work with an excellent company that we absolutely love, Wakilni. They're one of the
Yes, sir.
leading, yes, sir. They're doing really an amazing job. We absolutely love working with them. There's a lot of trust. They believe in what we do. We believe in what they do. We complete each other. And I think that's important. So the partners you work with and the values they have will play a big role in the end results towards the consumer, especially when it comes to delivery, because that's, by the way, what the customer is seeing.
Yes.
That's to some extent, if you don't do a lot of pop-up events, or if you don't show a lot of faces on your marketing, to some extent, this is the only human face or human they will interact with. It's a
Yes.
person delivering the product. So it's really important for them to be, professional, on time, clean, etc.
What I want to ask is, if e-commerce is mostly building an experience. It starts with manufacturing, packaging, and delivering to the customer. What makes the Sikasok experience different from other brands? Is it your packaging or is it your marketing? Like, what's the special experience you give to the customer that makes them come back and makes you different?
So besides delivering high quality products that people enjoy wearing, so this is, a given for us. We don't think this is what makes us special. This is the day we stop doing this is the day we're doing something wrong. It's not something. It's the bare minimum we want to offer. A high quality. I think what makes us special is the community we built around our brand. Sikasok is a community of positive people who appreciate the little things, and we talk a lot about this on our, channels. You'll rarely see us selling you socks, in our marketing. You'll see the marketing is more genuine. We're really trying to get to know the people that interact with us and that will eventually become customers. We do a lot of events in person to meet the people. At our 1 year anniversary, we actually posted online that we will be in a bar in Beirut or to celebrate, and if someone would like to join it, we would be really happy to meet them. And we posted it, but we didn't really take it seriously. Again, there's no human. It's not Ralph who's speaking. It's a brand. It's a brand of socks, and so we just thought we'll go there and celebrate with our friends and family, but no one will show up. We actually sold out, or what do you say? Filled the whole
The bar?
place
Wow.
with people we don't know, with people we never met.
Wow.
And the best part is that, they come alone and they started mingling with each other. They started getting to know each other. And this is for me what makes us special. It's the
Wow.
community we have built. And this goes way, way, way beyond e-commerce, way beyond the socks. It takes much more to create that. And I think this is something we are really proud of, and this is what stands us out in the market.
I love how you approach community building. I really love that. It's just fascinating, and how you really focus on it, and that's your niche, and how that's how you win.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your website. You're focusing up until now on socks, different kind of socks, statement brands. I like the socks, High Key Faksava. It's I love it. Uh, as an e-commerce brand, and to be able to scale and achieve the higher multiples, do you believe you could stay focused on one product, which is socks and different varieties, or do you plan in the future of launching different products, let's say a statement shirt, or statement pants, or hats, or uh,
Definitely, there is a lot of possibilities out there for our brand, and I don't think there is a right or wrong approach. You see a lot of brands who stayed niche and grew within their niche, and many other brands, who diversified early on. And this is, a constant debate I have with my business partner, because, as a creative mind, she wants to create and develop more products, etc. And she and the whole creative team is very excited, to experiment with new things. And we will, and it will come. But at this stage, I think we'd like to stay niche, focus on one thing and be the best at it. It will help us grow, it will help us learn, and more importantly, it will help us build a brand. Once we build a brand that people love, I think later it will be much easier to launch more products, because they trust you, they trust the
right,
brand.
right.
So whether you do socks or t-shirts or whatever we decide to do later, it will be much smoother because they trusted the brand. It happens that we started with the socks because we found the right opportunity back then. But I think on the long term, you'll see much more than socks coming from Sikasok.
No, I love this concept, and I've interviewed the founder of the brand is called Simple Modern, and they're a brand for hydro flasks,
Okay,
and all they sell is hydro flasks, different varieties, different colors, different, but that's all they sell, and they're $100 million brand.
nice.
So in that specific niche, we look at iPhone and Apple. All they
Yeah,
have is the iPhone, and just different iPhone X, iPhone 8, iPhone 9, and they're focusing on that. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
interesting, and we see other brands that have multiple products, different stuff. So it's interesting to see how you thought about it, and where,
Yeah.
like, what would work and what would not.
It's also worth noting that we are diversifying within socks. So
Right.
today we have, long socks, short
Short
socks,
stuff.
invisible socks, knee-high socks, baby, kids,
Okay.
sports. Now we're, developing our line of technical socks for, for example, long distance running
Wow.
and
Okay.
marathons. We're developing Pilates and yoga socks.
Wow.
So while we are niche in socks, we are also, growing our portfolio a lot within that niche.
Okay. Uh, I wanted to go out of Sikasok. Let's say you were to sell Sikasok today, and you were to start a new e-commerce brand. What will be that e-commerce brand?
If, I haven't really thought about it yet because I'm really enjoying what I do with the socks at the moment. But of course, I'll need to do, the right study to see if there's
Okay.
a real need for this. But I would definitely pick a niche. So I personally love niches. So I would
Okay.
I would definitely stay within the reasoning or the strategy of niches. Um, I personally like the fidgets.
Right.
Yeah, the spinners, fidgets, etc. So I use them. I find them very entertaining.
Yeah.
So maybe on top of my mind, I would say maybe something within fidgets, but maybe the market is saturated. I'm not sure.
Okay.
This is just for fun on top of my mind. It's
Okay.
I think it has a lot of potential. It's a niche that you can use it for kids, but also professionals. To distress. Maybe it can be fun. I'm not sure. I'll have
Okay.
to do my study.
Now, you part of the money you after you sold Sikasok, part of the money you used to build the fidget brand, and you still have more money, and you decide to become an investor. What e-commerce brands in Lebanon or in the region you see that you would want to invest money in?
Oof. It's really so you want me to name actual brands?
If you like a specific brand that you see that's a wow, I would want to invest in, yes, name it. We I would like to hear about them, and the viewers would like to hear about them.
Uh, there are a lot of brands I love.
If you want to name two or three.
On top of my mind, I'm not sure. So there's Potion Kitchen. They're in the beauty, uh, industry. They're doing a good job. Selma Beauty, when it comes to
Okay.
soaps, are doing a great job. Um, there are so many. I don't want to name someone and forget the good times. They do, premium za'atar and they sell it online as well. Um, so many Ta'abar, these are not just e-commerce brands, but these are brands that leverage e-commerce in a way, and I think they're doing a great job. I think we think alike. They share our values. For most of them, also we meet on a regular basis. When we spot each other at events, we exchange knowledge. Sometimes we meet on purpose, to exchange, the current challenges we're facing, how each person is, solving them. So this brings us back to the sense of community that we were talking about. And again, community is not just about the customers; it's about the people in the market, the suppliers, the all stakeholders, basically.
Okay. Um, my last question. Let's say you were to drop everything you're doing today and focus on one word problem that you would want to solve. Word problem or a community problem. One problem that would be your life mission. What would be that problem? Or what would be your life mission?
Uh, I think something around education.
Okay.
I think the education system is very outdated. It's not built for entrepreneurs. It's not built for businessmen. It's built for employees. It's built for people who want to follow rules. Of course, I'm not talking about technical jobs like engineering or medicine. Although you meet a lot of professionals in those industries as well who tell you that university is very theoretical and they only really got to learn when they started, their practical experience. But speaking about business and entrepreneurship, I think I would like to, if I were to, focus on one mission, I think I would like to remodel or reinvent the education system, make it more up to date with the needs of the current, market. Focus more on emotional intelligence, more on EQ, less on IQ. With so many tools around us, from AI to the internet, etc. It's not really very difficult to find, a technical person. If you don't find them, you can teach them. But what's more difficult is to find a decent person, someone you enjoy working with, someone who has great values, who a leader. All those soft skills I think are underrated and almost obsolete in the current education system. So maybe I would work on that.
No, I definitely agree. Uh, I think the way our education system sometimes is set up is uh, really theoretical. I graduated as an engineer, and then I'm doing my master's in business. With my master's in business, my marketing class, I knew everything the professor was speaking about because I've built an e-commerce startup before. I've worked in e-commerce. I've studied e-commerce. I know what's customer segmentation. I know how to target your customers. And she was speaking about them, like, okay, what's new that I could learn during that program?
Nice.
Again, it's just theoretical. There's no practical experience. So
Yeah.
I would join you on working on that life mission problem.
I do believe there is value in universities or schools, etc. But I would just fix it. You know, the people you meet are key. You know,
Yes.
the your ability to work under pressure maybe is interesting. But I think we can do much more during our time, or you know, we spent so many years at university and schools. I think we can leverage much more the emotional intelligence aspect of, you know, people, and a bit less of their intellectual aspect.
Ralph, amazing episode. I like a lot how you think about Sikasok in terms of community, in terms of the experience you want to give out to the customers, in terms of you want to grow and how you want to build a vision. Thank you for being here. Any last words you want to share with the audience? Where could people find more of what you're doing? Uh,
Uh,
Feel free to
Yeah,
share.
first, thank you, Ahmed, for inviting me on the podcast. I hope you know, the audience enjoyed it. I hope you were able to you know, maybe inspire someone who was, you know, stuck about with their idea, and tell them maybe that, you know, you can actually start with something as silly and innocent as a pair of socks and take it, you know, somewhere else. And yeah, I think it's really interesting, you know, opportunity to be on a platform, you know, that promotes uh, you know, similar topics, and have a like-minded community around it. So good job for you as well, and you know, keep doing what you do.
No, thank you again, Ross.